never set up stuff that's actually important. It's so weird, because you just think about it. It's just weird how, I'm tired of this. So freaking tired of all of this. I really am. Hello everyone, welcome to Bayern Now, the ultimate Bayern Munich fan channel. So look, the title says it, Bayern have doubts on signing Leroy Sane. I didn't say it, the title does. I didn't write the title a few minutes ago. I didn't, okay? It just came to the thing. It just appeared, okay? So Bayern Munich are apparently having doubts over signing Leroy Sane. First of all, what the hell? Obviously, look, I know a lot of these stories can be fake. Right, they can be made up. They can have zero sources. I mean, this is from the Kicker. This isn't from a overly reliable source, right? But Kicker do get a few stories right. My job isn't to not say something. I'm just a fan channel. I'm gonna say a source. If my opinion on Sane will change literally if a fake source came out and said Sane doesn't ever want to sign for Bayern. He hates Bayern Munich. I'm a fan, right? We're all fans. I'm just saying and putting the information out there so you can make your own mind up, because ultimately, let's get De Ligt because he's linked with Man United. I do love De Ligt. I would love to have De Ligt. It's weird. I think he has a release clause, I don't know, but I would love to actually get De Ligt from Juventus. He's not been playing with Juve, and they also have that other guy, Demervel or something like that. I don't know. We could really get De Ligt. I would love De Ligt. I love De Ligt. I think he's a great player. But yeah, like I was saying, this is just for me I need to say this, because ultimately what could happen in the summer is some of these stories could come to fruition and come true. And because I didn't I'm not a reporter either, but because I didn't say it, now they're not relevant. So I have to almost say every story that comes out with Bayern. So right now, the thing is, or the news from the Kicker, which is it's not a reliable source, but I mean, this is probably not true, but it's that Bayern Munich, not even Leroy Sane, Bayern Munich are having doubts over Sane's mentality as a player, as to why he's coming to Bayern. So they want him to be an essential, absolute identification. They want him to be a character for Bayern instead of being a money-driven merchant. Oh, Jesus Christ, I don't even want to read all this. But they apparently are looking for, they're scouting his mentality. If you wanted to know Sane's mentality, watch the games versus Liverpool where he scored the most crucial goals for Man City last season. In addition, Bayern bosses are skeptical after Sane changed his agent despite already agreeing to a move. According to Sane's entourage, his desire to join Bayern is disappearing more and more after the failed transfer in summer 2019 and January 2020. It's not Sane's fault, because, let's be honest, we should have if we were going to sign Sane last summer, we shouldn't have waited for him to play in the City game. We should have told City, don't play this player. We want him. We already have a deal going on. We're negotiating, because ultimately we were negotiating. We shouldn't have had Sane play that game. It's Bayern's fault that Sane got injured. People keep saying, well, Sane took 2 weeks. Sane took 2 weeks, decided he did want to move to Bayern, and then Bayern, being the slow club that we were, we agreed to a deal with Sane, but we didn't tell City, hey, don't play him, because he might actually get injured, because that's a possibility. A game versus Liverpool in a crucial cup game. You think Liverpool aren't going to play intense? So it's our fault for letting Sane play and take the pitch in a game that we needed we needed Sane to be fit for, and it's City's fault a little bit, and it's Sane's fault for not pushing the move earlier on. It's everybody's fault, but most importantly, we're the one who wants the player, not Sane. Sane can stay at City and win his Premier Leagues, win his FA Cups. He can do that. That would probably be great for his career, because people would be like, he's the best Premier League winger ever, right? People would say that, but it's not Sane's fault that we didn't tell City, hey, don't play him in that game versus Liverpool, one of your biggest, title rivals. Don't do that, please. Right? Don't do it in a final as well. I think it was the Super Cup final. No, not the Super Cup. It was a final. It was a Community Shield or something like that. It was an important game. And we played Sane, or we decided not to tell City. And in January, where we should have signed Sane in January. It would have been easier. He would have had time to fit inside the team. Right now, Sane should be a Bayern player, but he wasn't. So, Bayern interested in Nico Malamed. I don't know who that is. I have to look into that. I haven't seen much of him. But for me, this is our fault. If Sane doesn't want to come to Bayern, it's not his fault. Like, if think about this, right? You're trying to get a job, right? You're trying to get a job. You've applied for the job, right? You're a player. You've applied for the job. You're an engineer or something. You've applied for the job for a company. The company is like, you know what? We want you. But your current company, we have to tell them, okay, we want your employee. They've agreed a deal with us. They have to cancel the contract, right? And your current employee is like, okay, fine. And then you, the new employer, like the company you've applied for as the engineer, doesn't even want to talk to your current company immediately. They will let you wait, and then you go to a job, and something happens, you get an injury, and then I'm trying to relate it to the Sane situation, but it's so reminiscent of it, right? If Sane doesn't come to Bayern, it's our fault. It's our fault for not actually getting him. So, yeah, it's what it is. That's life. If you don't go to, let's say you like a girl, right? You like a girl, she's nice, right? You like her, but you never approach her. You just lead her on, right? She actually likes you as well. Like, you know she likes you because maybe she's like, okay, staring you down, right? She, looks at you occasionally. You're building that attraction, but then you never actually go up and talk to her. What the hell is that supposed to do? Like, who is that helping, right? You never talk to her and ask her, hey, do you have a boyfriend? Would you like to go on a date with me, right? You don't do that. Instead, you just lead her on. She leads you on, but you don't do anything, right? Because women don't like to take action. How is a player like Sane, under contract, going to come out and say, I want Bayern Munich now? Like, he can't do that. He can only do it in secret. And City do know he might be doing it in secret, but they can't do anything about it because they don't have proof he's doing it in secret. But they would know by logic that he probably was talking to Bayern in secret. He's not supposed to, but he is. And if you did bring it up, he'd just say, hey, I wasn't talking to Bayern. I just traveled to Munich to go meet my ex-girlfriend and go visit my brother in Solkjaer. But, did you also know that in Solkjaer he talked to one of Bayern's transfer representatives, right? You wouldn't know. At City, players aren't supposed to talk to other clubs while they're under contract, right? But until the other club has paid their fee, and they can then negotiate. We agreed with deal with Sane on his salary, right? Reportedly, which we did agree on his salary before we even talked to City. And that's a mistake. You always, if you already know Sane wants to come to you, yes, you do agree to deal with him, but you also have to be simultaneously working on the transfer negotiations with the club. So we didn't do that. It's our fault. We're the ones who didn't ask out the girl. We're the creepy dude that likes the girl but doesn't ask her out, right? We're the creep. It's not Sane. It's not the girl who's just sitting there wanting someone to take her out. It's not the girl. It's us. It's the ones who are actually attracted to her. We're the ones in need of a world-class left winger, not Sane FC. Sane FC isn't a thing. Sane doesn't have his own football club. Sane is not an agent of a football player. If Sane was an agent and he blocked transfers, then it makes sense. But we're the ones who are at fault here if we don't go ahead and complete the signing of Sane. So, before I get into more topic, first of all, thank you everyone so much for 110 subscribers, 111 now. Let's reach 120. So if you can share the videos, like, subscribe. Like, the likes that I get on the stream help out, because once I just click end stream and then it goes live, it's uploaded to the channel. People who are maybe just coming in, or people who are new to the channel, or YouTube will recommend it to them, and then that's how we get more people, involved in the channel. But having great conversations in the comments, that's what I look forward to, because this channel isn't really just about me. It's for me a lot to just say my opinion on the club I love, but honestly, this channel was created because I just knew, okay, every team, almost even Dortmund, I think, have people who have YouTube channels. We really don't, and I was like, I want to make that. I like talking about Bayern to myself. I constantly think about Bayern. My Twitter account, all I do is follow other Bayern pages. I might as well just bring it up on YouTube, and this has been so fun for me. So thank you everyone so much for 111. We'll keep growing, that's for sure. It's almost a given. And this Leroy Sane stuff, I think every single Bayern fan, we're all tired of it. Are we not? I think every single one of us doesn't want to hear the name Leroy Sane until he's a Bayern player. I think every single Bayern fan would like Leroy Sané at the club. I don't know, maybe there's a few that are like, oh, he gets injured, or he his mentality. That would be, I don't know, you're just doing too much. But I think every single Bayern fan would want Leroy Sané right now. We need him. It's not just like we want him, we need a player like him. We need that world-class winger, right? We are in the need of Leroy Sané. He doesn't need us, right? And it's kind of sad that we've had this saga go on for too long. I think if we didn't sign Leroy Sané in this summer, what's that going to look like for the club? It's going to look like we are an alpha or a beta male club with no intentions of the future, right? It's going to look like we're this beggar club. Club will start overpricing their players because they don't respect us. They don't respect our transfer business. They don't respect the fact that we're linked to players for so long and don't sign them, or that player rejected us. Sané wants to come to Bayern. It's just up to Bayern to make the deal happen quick. When the summer transfer window opens, the next day we should sign Sané, because that's exactly what we need right now. We don't need a few weeks where he's deciding on his future. We don't need a few weeks where we're negotiating with City. If City want 80 million because of the economic situation of clubs, I think all 100 million transfers are over. I don't think Sané's going to go for 100 million now because he's not even playing. He hasn't played for months upon months, and he got older, which literally puts his value down. So when we think about that, it's exactly what we need. We need that. We need a bit of cheapness around here. I mean, look at that. I mean, Sané's 24 now, 100 million. Like, just pay the fee up, right? And you know what? There's a thing that, we're interested in TIMO Werner instead, which, look, we shouldn't be getting Sané or Werner. We should be getting Sané and Werner. That's the thing, isn't it? We don't need one or the other. Or no, we don't need one or we can't have the other. We need both. If we were going to sign Sané, we should sign TIMO Werner if we want to. If we want to sign TIMO Werner, it shouldn't be because he's the alternative to Sané. It should be because we're signing him and Sané. Like, I want all these players. I want 5 new players who are young, up and coming, and going to fit in that starting 11. I want a right back. I want Hakimi. I want Sané. And I want TIMO Werner. TIMO Werner can be the guy that can play every position, and he can come into the team when we need him. He can give play time, and he can sometimes rest Lewandowski. As much as I love Lewa, the injury he just got, what if we had Werner? We wouldn't be having to rely on Serge, who's only 18 years old. Serge can go on loan and get world class. Imagine we have that team. You're winning every single trophy every single year. Like, you would not lack anything. And then you bought Upamecano to defend and to help out the team. We would have so many players covering every single position. So for me right now, like, I'm not interested in the whole Sané saga anymore. I just need it to end. I need us to buy Leroy Sané. His market value is still 110 million. Every single player's value will go down by 20%. That's what I think. I think Sané will be worth 80 million. I think, a player like Hakimi, who was worth 50 million or 60 million, whatever it was, will be worth 40 million now. You'll have so many players on the cut. Paul Pogba will be worth 90 million or 80 million. Now, it's because of them. When you don't play football, it's not just the players who are getting lower market values. It's the teams in general. It's the money each club has. If a club doesn't have, if every single club lost 20% of their income, then the value of the players lost 20%, and the value of every single person working at the club is 20% lower. That's how it works. That's economics, right? If you're gonna price a product where no one can afford it, then you're just selling diamonds. Not everyone wants diamonds, unless the product is just so proven that someone's gonna go above and beyond and do it. Then it makes sense. But for now, I don't see I don't see how we're gonna spend 100+ million on Sané. I think he's gonna go for 80 million, and it's not like that 80 million is gonna be too little for Bayern, because Bayern also have lost a lot of money in this crisis. Obviously, it's not gonna affect us as much as it's gonna affect teams that are struggling to stay in the Bundesliga, or teams that are lower in the Bundesliga 2, 3, right? Teams that are lower like that, it's not going to affect them as much. But the truth and the fact of the matter is, Bayern Munich have lost money. So is Manchester City, even though they have oil money. So is Liverpool. So is every single team in Europe. So if Sane was to go for 100 million, that's, he's going to go for less. City would probably be more willing to sell him because of the fact that they themselves are in a financial crisis. I mean, they also have this, as I said before on this channel, we are delusional to think that Bayern might spend this much on a player. I love this club, but we are cheap. No, I actually disagree with you. I mean, that's absolutely incorrect. Look at the signing of Lucas Hernandez. We triggered his release clause of 70 million. We are, as much as, yes, we don't want to be spending hundreds of millions. I mean, think about Lucas Hernandez. He was injured when we bought him, right? And he was a World Cup winner. We bought him for 70 million. 88 million in the US dollars. That's almost 100 million. And he's not Sane, is he? He hasn't won all the things Sane has won. He played for Atletico Madrid. He won the Super Cup, the UEFA Super Cup. He won the Europa League. And he's won the World Cup, right? But Sane's won the Premier League, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, playing a huge role. Sane is worth 100 million, but obviously now with this crisis, everyone's prices goes down by 20%. Like every single player. I don't care how big you are, because all the clubs' net worth or income has gone down by 20%. Until June, clubs are losing billions. So no, the notion, we're not delusional to think we're going to spend 100 million, because we almost literally have. We spent $88 million, obviously not euros, but 88 million on a player, Lucas Hernandez. We activated his release clause. We signed Pavard for 35 million. There is intention there from Bayern to sign players, right? We're going to sign Havertz for at least close to 100 million. We're going to sign a lot of players. It's not like we're never going to. Think about it. We didn't do that because we didn't need to. Football, the economy has changed in football. It's changed everywhere. All the clubs, I mean, the mid-table clubs are Hertha Berlin are buying players now for 50 million, 30 million, when before those players for them would have gone for 15 million. Bayern are buying players that used to go for 40 million, 50 million, right, in that range. Now we're buying them for 100 million, right? It's okay, because we can think about it as, players are expensive, or we can think about it as, clubs are making significantly more money, right? And then that's how you see it. I read somewhere that if the Bundesliga had its own streaming service, so like a Netflix, but it was like the Bundesliga Flix or something, and it had, it was available in every single country, different languages, like hundreds of different languages all over the world. Like, let's say in India, there was I think they speak Hindu in India, I don't know, but they would be speaking the Indian language in India on the Bundesliga, Netflix, and you paid like $14 a month, which is significantly less than paying for cable to only watch the Bundesliga in the first place. We wouldn't have to pay Fox to watch the Bundesliga, right? That money, right? The Bundesliga would go from making a few billion per season to making hundreds of billions per season, just because of that. So clubs will make more money. There's going to be a time in the future, it's not even going to be that far off, in maybe 20 years, where players will be going for 500 million. Not because clubs or players are that valuable, but because clubs will just be making that much more money. And when every club is making billions upon billions, Kimmich went for, I think Kimmich was 8 million, right? A huge bargain, right? Kimmich in those times, Kimmich will be going for 100 million. A player like him, for his 8 million, will in the future be 100 million. Not because money gets to be too inflated, but because clubs will be making so much more money. Clubs will literally 10 times their employees. Think about it. The Bundesliga, imagine if on the Bundesliga Netflix type thing, on the streaming service, each club had its own page where they created their own content, right? And in a time like this, they would show a classic match and keep people entertained. And you know how many people, the amount of money they'd be making. Like, each club would be making all that money on the Bundesliga platform, also on their merchandising stores. And maybe, what if on the Bundesliga thing, right? You only subscribe to your club. So you would pay like $6 a month and only got Bayern games. So every Bayern game you'd get that. And then what if the UEFA Champions League had its own streaming? UEFA, call it UEFA TV or something. You subscribe to it and you got Champions League games. And then similar to that, what if they put like different deals where you can only watch your club, right? And then if your club's kicked out of the Champions League, you click on a different club and you can only watch one club at the same time. It'd be crazy. Like, teams are going to be making billions more, right? We're going to be making billions more. I don't think we're a cheap club. I mean, think about the businesses we've done in the past. It's not just now. I mean, it looks like we're cheap but what we do well is we recruit players. I mean, that end up, Neuer, at his time, 35 million for a goalkeeper was a lot of money. Like, for a goalkeeper, because back then goalkeepers were always just cheaper. They were the players that you didn't need to really focus on. Now goalkeepers are different. They are very involved in the team, right? I mean, Serge Gnabry is our most valuable player at $100 million US. Kimmich behind him, Lewandowski, Coutinho is not important. Atletico Madrid's Lucas Hernandez, and Alaba is 71 million. He's gone up. Thiago is 70 million. I don't know why Thiago's market value went down. But, I mean, actually, every player's market value is going down because of the fact the crisis we're in. Like, every market value will go down by 20%. But you understand what I'm saying, right? As much as, we can say, oh, Bayern's cheap. We're not cheap. We're just a normal club that does normal business. We really are. We don't really, as much as, how long have you really seen Bayern go spend hundreds of millions? But look at Real Madrid. They didn't spend hundreds of millions a decade ago. I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo, but that was Ronaldo, right? That was the best player, one of the best players in the world. Ronaldo was a great player at Manchester United. Going to Real Madrid, United want more money, so naturally they priced him up, right? Manchester United only recently, like 2015, broke the 100 million mark for Paul Pogba. I think that was it, yeah. The most expensive transfer. Neymar. See, these transfers, the more PSG, Man City, all these clubs keep buying players that are like twice their value sometimes. Neymar was worth 100 million. He should have been 100 million. And then if Neymar was 100 million, Sane would be 75 million now. And that's how it would work. But I think we would get Sane for less than 100 million. But that's not because City are only in a crisis. It's because everyone's in a crisis. We're all losing money. The clubs are losing hundreds of millions just by not playing a few match days. Think about it. The sponsors will be like, hey, give us our money back. We're paying you this much because you told us you'd play this amount of games with our shirt, with the name of our shirts or of our companies on your shirts. You're not doing that, so give us some of our money back. And clubs would have to get in debt sometimes to give them their money back. Now, are sponsors going to be understanding and saying the situation? They're not. They're going to be like, oh, we want you to play every single game. And the TV companies, Fox Sports, which like is part of the, which shows the Bundesliga to people around the world. ITV, BT I think shows the Bundesliga, right? They're going to be like, hey, we want some of our money back because we're giving you this money for our broadcasting rights. We want to show it on TV. Give us some of our money back or play every single game. So clubs have such a huge obligation, financially to play games and to, and they make money that way. And I think in the future, clubs will realize and leagues will realize, hey, it's not sustainable having TV deals. We need to have our own streaming platform where people could literally watch. I think eventually we'll get to a point where we'll be watching a third or fourth tier or even fifth tier Bundesliga teams on TV because, imagine, the leagues are making billions now, but they're making hundreds of billions every season, right? Think about that. That's, oh my God, that's literally a freaking mega corporation. Now think about this. They'll be like, you know what, we need to find more matches all over the place. They'll start sending actual teams to go record and live stream professional equipment, Division 5 matches in the Bundesliga, Bundesliga 3 matches, 2 matches. We'll see this on TV. Fans will start finding different clubs and start watching them, right? There'll be more stories. Think about it. each league could have its own unique sponsors. Instead of Lothar Matthäus going on, RT Sport, I don't know where he goes, I'm just guessing, going on these sport channels, they would literally go on the Bundesliga, like official Netflix or, type thing, the streaming service, and they would commentate on matches. And like, let's say someone in India really had an Indian legend who played football. They would be the one commentating different matches. You know what I mean here? Like, it would be so different and unique, and it would employ millions more people. The leagues would have, like, legitimately, think about this. Like, the league would have American commentators, Nigerian commentators. Like, someone didn't, commentate. We have a Ghanaian player. I don't know his name. I forgot it right now. The Bayern player from Nigeria. Like, he could be the one commentating a lot of Bayern games in Nigeria. Like, he could do that. Amazon Prime took over the Premier League for December, and it was a huge success. I think it was cheaper, right? Not only that, people were on their favorite platform, and it was so accessible. When you're on cable TV, right? When you're clicking on your TV, you have to sit down in the same place. You can literally carry your phone around and be watching Bayern Munich. And it would be a great connection, because eventually we'll all have 5G internet. We will. We'll all have, our internet going at 500 megabytes per second on our phones, cheap as well, and we'll be watching Bayern Munich halfway across the world. And we'll be watching the Champions League on Wednesdays, and we won't be receiving buffering. Like, we'll be watching all these things. And I think that's the future. I think this experience with the coronavirus is going to make clubs get better. So yeah, I think I'm done talking about Leroy Sane, but thank you everyone so much for watching. Thank you all so much for 111 subscribers. This channel is growing so crazy. It's really weird, because there was like a week ago we didn't reach 100 subscribers. I was like, what's going on? Why haven't we reached 100 subscribers? We were 99 subscribers for a whole 5 days, and I was like, why are people subscribing then, like, literally leaving? And then, like, someone literally unsubscribed, and then I just saw 3 people subscribe, and then now we're growing so fast. It's incredible. So thank you so much for watching. Peace. Bayern forever. I'm gonna probably make you a moderator now. You're on the channel often. Alright, see ya.